I noticed that most of y'all that watch this channel are not subscribed. Make sure that you subscribe so that we can give you that dope content that you love. Content about music production, content about music in general, and about life. Thank you so much.
Let me work. Please let me work.
What up, everybody? Let's get it started. Let's get into this Kev Brown right here. What you gonna do?
So you just gotta go through and just take all these pieces.
Yo, let me stop it right here. All right, so one of the things that we loved about the MPC 2000 was that tactile touch. I think the 3000 had that as well. That's also something that you love about the X SE, that when you touch, you hear that button pressing feel, that tactile feel. Well, you don't get it with the Live 2, but you definitely get that with the X, and I think the 1 Plus and the 1, the MPC 1.
Hold up, he gonna get this work.
All right, you see what he's doing? You know that function on the MPCs, the current model MPCs, where you hit mix like 3 times and then the sampler comes up? And when the sampler comes up, you have the ability to take your record and sample your record, but you can then sample and put it immediately on the pads. This is how we had to do it back in the day. You had to sit there and listen to it, get it, and then sample it how you want it, put it on the pad. So what he's doing is that same concept that you see guys like Marlo Diggs doing when they're sampling as well. He's sampling it piece by piece, bit by bit, getting the parts that he wants. You know, there's not much sampling time on these devices like it is today.
Hold up, he gonna get this work.
Like, you had to do all this by ear. You had that screen, but you couldn't use that screen. You had to do everything by ear. That's why I said older producers, I feel, have since we've had the older gear, we have the ability to, do more by ear. And the graphics or the grids and all that stuff just help us out. Now, I'm going to say this one more time. We got to give Kev Brown props. Him and Pete Rock. Those are 2 videos that we saw people making beats on that changed the way people make beats. This guy was way ahead of his time.
Yep, so don't get it confused. It's not just looping up some stuff and then calling it the sound of the culture.
I bet you didn't catch that. On beat, a little bit off beat. You see what I'm saying? On beat, a little bit off beat. You're just using a metronome as a reference.
Okay. That's what I usually start off with. And then just try to change the pitch a little bit.
But you see that box off to the side? That was the Roland VS 2080. Basically, you could record a whole album in that joint. I had the 1680. So you could record songs in that. So basically you could track all your music over from the MPC. You could mix it, everything, add Roland effects to it, and then next thing you know, record it to a CD. Check this out. This is it right here. I used to want this joint right here. I had the 1680. You had 16 tracks instead of the 20 tracks you have on this one. I didn't even want to come in right there. I wanted him to work. You see what he's doing? Piece by piece, bit by bit. He's building it. He's finding out the samples he wants to use, and then he's building it. That's the same thing that Young RJ was doing with the track, if you remember his video. Dilla. He was trained by Dilla, Young RJ. This is all that Pete Rock influence, y'all. Come on now. This is the vein of Pete Rock. And you know where Pete Rock comes from? Marley Marl. He comes from Marley Marl. You know, he was with Future Flavors, down with Marley Marl. You see what I'm saying? So now all of this trickles down. You know what I'm saying? Here we are, linking. I link Marley Marl to Pete Rock, from Pete Rock to Jay Dilla. Kev Brown was original. But how they used the machine, they've mastered the machine to the point where they could hear what they wanted to hear by ear after they got the sample.
Hold up, man. We gonna get this work.
Let's let him get his work in. Check this out. No stems. No stems. He used a part of the record. He filtered the sample. Shoot.
This is the original joint.
What you gonna do?
Pretty much, yeah.
Alright.
So that's the,
Shout out to Eddie Floyd.
You know what I'm saying? Looking spiffy. Looking spiffy on the cover. Tight afro. Afro is tight. Got his Farrakhan bow tie on.
Alright, here it is.
And this
Here it is.
the other beat. Hold up, this is the... Should I come in with the bass first? I like the strings first. You know what I'm saying, son? Word, son. I seen him on the street, son.
Yo, I gotta tell you, that was one of my favorite videos back in the day. Shout out to the DMV. Some people think DMV is Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. No, that's not DMV. Maybe from a business economic point of view, they look at it like that. But the DMV is Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the southern part of Maryland, PG County, you know, those areas like that. So that's what they consider the DMV. Even Baltimore people say, we're not DMV. It was a meme talking about it at one time. This guy from Baltimore was pretending like he was from Baltimore in the DMV. But shout out to, I'm telling you right now, I wanted to be down with Low Budget. I wanted to be down with those guys. I moved to Maryland in 97, and I was making beats. And my sister in 2000-something, she said to me, she said, yo, your beats sound like this guy from PG County. And I was like, Kev Brown? She's like, yeah. I said, yeah. Kev Brown. So shout out to Gadget, shout out to Low Budget, shout out to Kev Brown, shout out to all the members of Low Budget. Y'all know Peter Rosenberg was a part of Low Budget too. I thought they were gonna blow up after that, but it didn't quite work out the way that I thought. But anyway, everybody, this is producer motivation. And I hope you like this motivation. Oh, like, comment, subscribe, share. Be a part of the fam. Don't forget. If you like this video, you're definitely going to like the video that we just previewed before. Not the RZA one. We're going to do another one on RZA.